Hello, so today is memory and concentration. For today's class, we are going to carry off from where we ended off last week. So last week I got y'all to do a learning styles quiz, right? So by now y'all should know what kind of learner you are. So today I'm going to tell y'all how y'all can learn better. OK，所以今天的课我会教你们一些学习方式。所以上个星期我有教你们做一个小测验，then 你现在应该知道你是用哪一个方式来学习比较好的。所以今天我会跟你们讲，你会怎样可以用这些学习方式帮你们学东西。Okay, so how do you all learn? So you are either a kinesthetic learner, a auditory learner, or a visual learner. So it's good for you to have the worksheet out now because you can fill in the blanks as I go through the lesson. Either that or you can go through one time then after that watch it again. Cause the blanks are basically you copy from the slides one or from this video. Okay, so it's up to you lah. 所以现在你可以把你的作业拿出来 then 一边看一边做，要不然等一下你看完视频你又要看多一次来写那个答案。Okay, so for first one is auditory learners. So for auditory learners, it means that you learn better through listening. Like maybe right now I'm doing a video, right? Then maybe you don't even need to look at my slides or the video and you can sort of like learn already. So that's one way to know if you are auditory learner. And like lectures and group discussions do well for you because you are listening to people speak and all. And you sometimes may talk to yourself to remember things. So like maybe you're reading a book or you're reading some notes, you may read it out loud to yourself. So that's another way to find out if you are an auditory learner. So if you did the quiz last week, then if you are auditory learner, you have known by now lah. Okay， 所以用听觉学习如果你是用听觉学习的，你会在演讲和小组讨论中表现得比较出色。Then 你有时候也会自言自语来记东西，例如你可能在读一本书，还是在读你的笔记，那你可能会把那个笔记读出来给你自己听，那这样你就知道你是用听觉的。如果你有做过上个星期的那个测验，那你也会知道你是用听觉学习的咯。So how can you learn better if you're an auditory learner? So you can read out your notes, like after writing down your notes, or if you have notes given to you already, you can read it out to yourself. And you can also the good thing is to sit where you can listen. So sometimes maybe for example in the center, if you're sitting far back and you cannot hear properly, then it may affect your learning because you cannot listen properly. Then so a good thing is to just sit where you can listen. So you may not be able to look at the whiteboard, but if you're an auditory learner, then it will be better if you can sit somewhere that can hear the person speaking. And another good thing is to listen to recordings. So technically this is also a recording because you are this is technically a recording because you are like listening to my voice. Then there's also a video lah. So yeah, so that's for auditory learners. 所以如果你是用听觉学习的 then 要怎样来学比较好呢？第一个就是你可以把你的学习笔记读出来，还是把刚学的资料也是对自己跟自己读。then 上课时你可以坐在能听的地方，就是讲好像在center 里面，你可以坐比较前面一点。如果你坐后面听不到，那你就移到前面听课。then 你也是可以去听录音，像现在我在做的是算一个录音啦 then 这样也是可能帮你们学比较好 okay so that's why it's this recording video thing is also good for y'all because for those that are auditory learners y'all can still learn because you are listening to me speak yeah okay so the next one is visual learners so For those who did the quiz last week and found out you're a visual learner, you may already know that you learn better by looking at things. You like to look at diagrams, you like to look at charts, or you like to look at pictures to learn better. And one strength about visual learners is that they can remember people's faces quite well. So not sure if it applies to all of you that are visual learners lah, but if you're a visual learner, it's possible that you can remember people's faces. Like maybe you cannot remember their name, like cannot remember like where you see them from, but maybe you look at this person and you're like, I've seen you somewhere before, just not sure where and what your name is. So it's possible that you're a visual learner lah, because you take in information easier by looking at things. Okay? 所以如果你是用视觉学习的，你可以你比较喜欢看图表还有图片来学习，好像看这个视频也是一个方式。Then 有些人也是可以很快的记下别人的脸，所以你可能不记得你从哪里看到他们，还是你可能会忘记他们的名字，可是你会记得你是见过见过那个人过。Then yeah， 所以用视觉是用看东西来学习的。So how do visual learners learn better? Okay, so some tips is that it's good for you to sit in front when learning. So for auditory learners, you sit in front because you need to be able to listen. But for visual learners, you sit in front because you need to see the diagram. So if you're sitting too far, then you cannot see the diagrams. You may lose focus in the class. Then you can also write down some key points, because by writing it down, you can there's something to look at when you are reading. When you're writing, you have to look at the words that you're writing, right? So that's one way. Then you can also draw pictures and diagrams to understand better. And also color code your notes. What does it mean by color coding? So example, if you have a big chunk of information you are trying to write down, or different types of things to write down, what you can do is get different colored pens and then write them down in different colors. So maybe example, if you are learning three pieces of information, you can write the first piece with a red pen, second piece with a blue pen, and then third piece with a black pen. So like that, then your brain can sort of like digest the information easier in some way. Yeah, because the colors sort of like separate the information into different sections, so your brain can sort of understand better if you're a visual learner. 所以如果你是用视觉学习的，一个东西你可以做就是在上课时你可以坐在前面。所以刚才我讲听觉的人也是要坐前面，是因为他们要听到课，我们讲的课。可是如果你是用视觉学习的，就是讲你坐在前面，让你看到白板还是看到那个电视机播放的什么东西。Then 你上课时候也是可以把重点写下来，因为你写下来的时候你会看你自己写字嘛，所以你看着自己写字的时候，你也是可以记一下东西比较好。Then 你也是可以画一些图片或者一些图表帮你解释比较好。Then 最后一个就是用不同的颜色写笔记，例如讲，如果你要学3种东西 ，then 你可以拿三种不同颜色的笔。then 第一个东西你用红笔写，第二个东西你用蓝笔写 ，then 第三个东西你用黑笔写。then 这样，因为有不同的颜色 ，then 你可以你的脑袋会把那些东西记下来比较容易。Okay? So actually this video, like this e-learning video is also good for your visual learners because you are looking at the words and you're seeing the things. Okay? So the last one is the kinesthetic learner. So personally, I am a kinesthetic learner. So how do kinesthetic learners learn and study things? They learn better by doing the activity, doing or feeling the things. So like building models or doing art projects, that's something that kinesthetic learners may like to do. And they learn better when they get to try the task out for themselves. So for example, if you want to teach a kinesthetic learner how to use a computer, you have to let them try out the functions themselves also, for them to remember easier. And that is something I relate to lah. I don't really know whether I relate to the second point about building models and art projects because that's not my strong point. But generally, yeah, I learn things better when I get to try out for myself and when I practice it. Then I'll get better. If I just listen, I may forget a lot of things. Yeah, so 最后一个就是用动觉学习。我自己也是用动觉学习的，所以那些用动觉学习的可能会喜欢做模型，还有做艺术一些计划。我自己是不喜欢做啦，可是因为我对艺术来说是挺弱的，但是当我学习的时候，我一定要自己试一下那个人物，才能学比较好啊。所以那些动觉的人可能会一样啦，他们得自己试一下那个人物，then 一直练习才会做得好。Okay. So how can you learn better if you are a kinesthetic learner? So one thing is to participate actively. So in terms of like in the center, if like we are conducting lessons, for the kinesthetic learners, it will be good to be more engaged. I'm not saying that the visual and the auditory learners don't need to be engaged, but for the kinesthetic learners, it will be better if you can ask more questions or you can sort of like answer the questions that are asked more actively, because then it will be easier for you to remember things. Then it's also good for you to write down notes. So I ask the visual learners to write down notes because they can see what they're writing down. For the kinesthetic learners, when you write down notes, you're sort of like revising the information already. So that's why it's good for you to write down notes. And then one thing is that for kinesthetic learners, you may need to take short breaks to walk around, because especially if you're doing like very theory-based things. So like right now you're watching the video, right? If you think that it's too long, like my previous videos, some of them are like 20 minutes long, then if you're a kinesthetic learner, you may find this too tiring to sit for the whole thing. So it will be good if you like can pause it maybe in 10 minutes and then go and walk around, drink some water, then come back and continue again. So that's something that I will do also lah. So like if you saw me if when the before the circuit breaker, when I was still working at the center, I will sometimes after I do my work, I'll come out around and talk to you all and all that. It's also one way for me to sort of get back my focus, cause sitting for too long will get me very distracted and very tired. So for the kinesthetic learners, this may be good for you also. And even if you're not a kinesthetic learner, it will be good to take short breaks to walk around as well, because videos, these kind of videos are very long lah. Then if you are sitting down for very long periods of time also, you may feel very tired. So this is a good tip for everyone in general also. 所以如果你是用动觉学习的，你是怎样可以帮你学习比较好呢？第一个就是要积极的参与活动。所以好像我们在那个中心上课的时候 then 你可能要问多一点问题，还是回答多一点问题，因为这样你就可以好像在练习你的知识了。then 这个不是只限制动觉的人来学习，如果你是用听觉还是用视觉的，也是可以比较积极的参与活动，因为是一个好事啦，因为你参与的时候，那你也会了解那些知识比较好。then 第二个东西就是做一些笔记，所以刚才我叫视觉的人也是做笔记，那个是因为他们写下来的时候可以看他们写的字，给动觉的人来说是讲当你在做那个笔记的时候，把那个东西写下来，你已经在练习那个知识了。因为刚才我有讲过，你要试一下那个任务，对吗？所以当你上课的时候，你的任务就是要记住那个东西。所以如果你做笔记，就是一个练习的方法。OK，then 最后一个就是你用短期的如果你在做很长的东西，好像讲我有一些视频有20分钟那么长 then 你可能看完10分钟后去走走先 then 才回来 then 继续看那个视频 对我来说这个也是很重要啦，因为我是一个用动觉学习的人，所以我在中心里也是，当我做一些东西了，做完一些任务，我会出去走一下子，跟你们讲话那些，也是因为这个也是给我一个方法来休息一下子then如果你不是动觉的，也是可以去走一下，因为你坐下来，在很长期的时间坐下来，也是会感觉一点疲倦，所以你去走一下子休息，去喝水还是去上厕所也是好then 你回来还可以更专心一点咯。Okay, so that's it for today. If you didn't take the quiz last week and you want to take it this week to sort of like find out what kind of learner you are, you can let Chris or Rebecca know, then they can print out the worksheet for you lah. Otherwise, then if you have any questions, you can ask me, and don't forget to fill up the worksheets. If you're not sure what are the answers in the blanks, you can ask me also. Okay, 所以我们今天的课就完成了。Then 如果你上个星期没有做那个测验， then 你要知道你是怎样用什么方式来学习的，你可以去找 Rebecca 还是 Chris 叫他帮你们印出那个测验， then 你可以试一下。then 记得要把那个作业做完， then 如果你有什么问题也是可以来问我。Okay, so that's it.